If your nervous system is healing and you feel more alone than you did before you started, this is for you. Not less alone, more. That surprise, that quiet ache that no one warned you about, is the part of healing almost no one names out loud. And it is not a mistake. It is not you doing it wrong. It is one of the deepest, oldest signs that something in you is finally coming back to life. Let me start with something you probably didn't expect to hear. Loneliness, in a healing body, is not the same emotion as loneliness in a wounded one. They wear the same face. They arrive with the same silence. But underneath, they are made of completely different material. One is the ache of being disconnected from yourself. The other is the ache of being connected to yourself for the first time in a long, long time, and realizing how much noise you were using to avoid it. Before we go further, let me tell you about an old monk who understood this better than any book ever will. He lived at the edge of a great forest, alone, in a small hut he had built with his own hands. He had come there many years earlier, after leaving the busy monastery where he had trained. He hadn't left because he was angry. He hadn't left because he was cast out. He had left because something in him had gone quiet, and the noise of 100 bells and 100 voices no longer sounded like devotion. It sounded like static, laid over the silence he was actually seeking. For the first month in his hut, he wept nearly every night. The quiet was too big. The wind through the trees sounded like the ghosts of every conversation he had ever wanted and never had. He almost went back. But he stayed, and slowly the loneliness began to change. It didn't disappear. Something else, though. It began to feel less like an absence, and more like a presence. Like the loneliness was not the empty space around him, but the quiet room inside him he had finally stopped running from. One day, a young student walked for many days to find him. The student had heard whispers of a monk in the forest who lived alone, but seemed, somehow, not lonely. The student sat across from him and asked, "Master, I feel alone even in a crowd. How can you feel not alone here, where there is no one at all?" The old monk smiled, and he said, "When you are surrounded by people, but disconnected from yourself, you carry loneliness inside you into every room. When you are alone, but reunited with yourself, you carry a companion inside you into every silence. It is not the number of people around you that decides. It is whether you have come home to the one person you were never allowed to sit with." The student didn't understand yet. He would, in time. But there is something in what the old monk said that I want you to hold, gently, as we go deeper. The loneliness you may be feeling right now, in the middle of your healing, is not the loneliness the world usually talks about. It is not the loneliness of being unloved. It is the loneliness of finally being alone with yourself, after a very long time of not being able to. Here is why this happens. In the language of the nervous system, when your body is in survival mode for long enough, whether it was months or years or since childhood, it does not have the resources to be present with itself. It is too busy scanning, watching for a shift in someone's mood, preparing for the next hard thing, managing tension, softening tone, performing calm so you don't set off whatever fire is closest to you. Presence, real inner presence, is a luxury a survival body cannot afford, so it fills the silence instead, with noise, with busyness, with other people's needs, with food, or scrolling, or the sound of a television left on for company. Not because you are shallow, because company, of any kind, was the only anesthetic that let you rest even a little. And then, one day, the threat ends, or you finally choose to end it, and your body slowly, cautiously, begins to lower its guard, and in that lowering, all the space you had filled with noise starts to open, and the first thing that fills the space is not peace, it is loneliness, because you are, for possibly the first time in your adult life, alone with the person inside you who has been waiting to be met.
This is where most people misdiagnose themselves. They say, I am healing, but I feel worse. I must be doing it wrong. I must be depressed. I must be broken. You are not broken. You are meeting yourself. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like, and, more importantly, what to do with it.
The first place this loneliness usually shows up is around people who used to feel like home, old friends, family, longtime partners, people whose presence used to be the sound of safety. And now, you sit across from them, and something feels off. The conversations you used to lose yourself in feel small. The jokes you used to laugh at land differently. You leave the room feeling drained, even though nothing bad happened. You might blame yourself. You might think, what is wrong with me? They haven't changed. But something has changed. Not them. You. Your nervous system is no longer available to the same frequencies it used to run on. It used to run on adrenaline conversations, on gossip that raised your heart rate, on being needed as a container for other people's chaos. That was the register it knew. Now that your body has begun to soften, those same conversations don't feel comforting anymore. They feel like being asked to run in shoes that no longer fit.
This does not mean you must abandon the people who feel this way now. It doesn't mean they are bad. It means you are meeting them from a new nervous system, and the mismatch is real. Here is what to do when you notice it. Do not force yourself to stay long.
Give yourself permission to leave earlier than you used to. When you do stay, notice one moment in the conversation where something soft, something honest, something true actually happens. Even one line. That is where the new version of connection is being born. Follow those moments. Let the rest fall away or transform slowly. This is not you losing your people. This is you outgrowing the shape connection used to take. The next place the loneliness lands is even more unexpected. Old joys start to feel muted. Things you used to love, things that used to make you feel alive, feel almost gray. Music, food, hobbies, places. You are not doing anything wrong by not enjoying them the way you used to. What is happening is this. When your nervous system was chronically activated, it took very large stimuli to be felt at all. Loud music, sharp flavors, intense social events. That was the only volume level that could cut through the static of survival mode. Now that the static is fading, your baseline is dropping, and everything feels less loud in comparison. This is not numbness. This is recalibration. The practice here is not to reach harder for the old joys. It is to lower your gaze. Look for smaller pleasures. The warmth of a mug in your hands. The particular shade of light on a wall in the afternoon. The way a slow breath feels in your chest when nothing else is happening. These smaller signals were always there. Your body couldn't feel them before because the volume of survival was too loud. Now you can. Meet them. Let them count. In a healing nervous system, quiet joys are the first ones to return. The third place is the strangest of all. You start to crave being alone more than you used to. And the people around you, watching you, may begin to worry. They may ask if you're isolating, if you're pulling away, if you're depressed. And sometimes, yes, that is worth paying attention to, honestly. But often, what is really happening is that your body is finally asking for the one thing it almost never got. Uninterrupted quiet. Not the quiet of hiding. The quiet of not having to read anyone's mood, not having to soften your voice, not having to be the version of yourself that keeps everyone else regulated. Buddhist tradition has a word for this that the modern world has lost. Solitude, as they understood it, was not the same as isolation. Isolation is when you are cut off from connection. Solitude is when you are connected to yourself so deeply that being alone is not a punishment. It is a return. The monks in the story did not go into the forest because they hated people. They went because they could not hear their own soul over the noise of the village. If your body is asking for more solitude right now, that is a request worth honoring. The practice is simple. Give yourself 10 uninterrupted minutes today with no input at all. No music, no scrolling, no task. just breath and stillness. It will feel uncomfortable at first. The mind will try to fill the space. Let it try. Do not force it quiet. Just sit with it. Your body is not asking you to be lonely. It is asking you to be reunited with yourself. 10 minutes at a time. That is how you rebuild the friendship you were never allowed to have with the person inside you. The fourth place the loneliness shows up is at night. In bed, when the day is finally quiet and there is no one to text, no one to call, no one to reach for. And a certain kind of grief arrives. Not sharp, just present. A recognition that you are here, in this body, with this life, and the version of you who used to fall asleep to the sound of someone else's breath is not falling asleep to that sound anymore. This is a real ache. I will not minimize it, but it is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is being reclaimed. The right to fall asleep in your own presence, without needing someone else's regulation to feel safe, is a right many people never fully develop. If you are just beginning to develop it now, in your adult life, of course it feels lonely. You are learning something you were never taught. Here is the practice for this one. When the ache arrives, do not push it away, and do not chase it with a distraction. Place one hand on your chest, feel your own heartbeat under your palm, and say to yourself, quietly, out loud if you can, I am here. I am with me. I am not alone. Not as a lie you are telling yourself to feel better. As a truth, you are teaching your body to believe. The person inside you has been waiting a long time for someone to sit with them at the end of the day. Let it be you. Every night, even for 1 minute, you will be astonished how much lonelier the ache stops feeling when it is witnessed, instead of run from. And the fifth place, the deepest one, is a strange kind of loneliness that has nothing to do with other people at all. It is the loneliness of missing the version of yourself who did not know what you know now. There is a grief in healing that is almost never talked about. You look back at who you were before you understood what your nervous system was doing, before you understood what you had been carrying, and you feel a soft ache for that self. She didn't know. He didn't know. They were still hoping the outside would fix what only the inside could reach. And now you know, and you cannot unknow. And there is a strange loneliness in that too, the loneliness of knowing. This is the loneliness Buddhist teaching calls the loneliness of awakening. It is not a sadness to escape. It is a threshold to honor. The practice here is not to push the knowing away, and not to romanticize the not knowing. It is to whisper to the earlier version of yourself, a single sentence. You did the best you could with what you had. I love you. I am not leaving you behind. I am carrying you forward, because you are. That earlier version of you got you here, and the new version of you, the one with the quieter nervous system and the slightly wiser eyes, is not a replacement. She is a continuation. He is a continuation. Every version of you is coming with you into this softer season. None of them is being abandoned. They are all just, finally, being met. I want to gather all of this into something you can carry with you. A closing ritual for tonight. If you can, lie down. Turn the lights low. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Close your eyes. Breathe in, slowly, and feel the way the air moves under your hands. Breathe out, slowly, and feel the way your body sinks a little deeper into whatever is holding you. Now, softly, in your own mind, speak to the loneliness. Do not fight it. Do not diagnose it. Just say to it, I know you are here. I am not going to run from you tonight. I am going to sit with you. Imagine, if you can, a warm golden light beginning at the crown of your head. Like honey, slow, gentle. It moves down through your forehead, softening the tension there, through your jaw, letting it release, through your throat, and your shoulders, and your chest, such one where your hand still rests, feeling your own heartbeat, through your belly, into your hips, down your legs into your feet. Every place the light touches, silently offer a single word: safe, safe, safe. And when the light has moved through your whole body, rest one final phrase in the space between your hands and your heart. Say it, quietly, out loud, or in your mind. I am not alone, I am with me, and that, for tonight, is enough. Stay with that for as long as it feels good, and if the loneliness returns tomorrow, that is not a sign the ritual failed. It is a sign that this ritual is one you will use many nights, not once. Healing a nervous system is not a moment, it is a returning, again and again, home to yourself, again and again. Before you go, I want to tell you one last thing. The old monk in the forest, the one from the beginning of this video, a one he lived out the rest of his life in that small hut, alone, by the world's measure, never lonely, by his own. When students asked him at the end, near the end of his life, what he had found in all those years in the quiet, he said only this: I found the friend I had been running from, and now I do not run anymore. You are not being punished with loneliness in your healing. You are being introduced to the friend you had been running from all along.
If this gave you even a little bit of relief, stay a while, subscribe to Mind and Monk, and let's keep walking through this together, one quiet truth at a time.